My name is Paul, up to Crombie. I've kind of recently relocated back to the Cook Islands in the last 4 years. Initially moving here, you could see that there was a lot of Cook Islanders and they were entrepreneurs, they were working for themselves, and I think that was a calling, there was a divine intervention where you just want to be a part of that. You want to be your own business owner, you want to be your own boss. So I moved back here with that inclination that I'll be working towards doing that and being that. And so I kind of started working for government initially. And then as time kind of gradually went on, I kind of knew that that wasn't for me and the direction that I wanted to head towards. And so I'm a little bit wild, I'm a little bit creative. And so I was like, yo, my uncle, he runs like an ice cream truck here on the island. My cousin has like an ice cream trailer, and I was always like, oh man, mini donuts could pop off on the island. Like someone just needs to sell it. With the amount of tourists that we have on the island and the amount of services that are available, there's always going to be an abundance within that customer service range. So if you could just apply yourself and be in that kind of circle, like hospitality wise, and provide a service or a good, then it's going to work. You just need the numbers, and it's a numbers game. And so going through that whole venture, I ended up creating churros. So I brought churros to the island. I was just thinking about it one time when I was still in my job, and I was like, yo, and I'll call it Churbros. It's quite a common term, living in the islands and also in New Zealand, and say just like Churbo. And I was like, yo, sweet. And so we sell that. We sell churros, loaded churros, ice cream sundaes, and we're like a street food vendor. We sell it through a trailer, and we just do it with in a relaxed style, but with high energy. So most of the time, we're commonly known with customer service. We'll call it that. It's just a combination of brother and customer service. So we'll do that, and I do that on the island during the Moody night markets. I'm available, and yeah, I just sell churros, sell sundaes, and on the side of that, I'm always trying to do some side hustles. I'm just a father as well, so I just look after my kids and aunties and uncles who have their own businesses. My younger brother, he's got a couple businesses as well. Those are things that we use to push each other. That's our community of people. And so when you're hanging around these entrepreneurs, you're in that circle of what are you up to? Oh yeah, boom, boom, boom. And that's what we do. And you kind of you know your people, you know what you want to do, and you do it, man. Not a lot of people, I could tell you my business idea of what I want to do, and it's up to you if you're going to do it. And a lot of time, nine times out of 10, they're not going to do it. Just because they're scared, they have no energy, there's time poor, everything's hard. It's not easy putting yourself out there and in the forefront of everyone and saying hey, this is me, this is what I'm going to do. Not everyone can do it, man. It requires confidence, energy, willpower, strength, resilience. I had one small side hustle, and I was doing that in 2019, and it kind of got to March, and I was working for immigration at the time, and COVID had just kind of started. We didn't have any idea of what was happening at the time, but I was always at the front line at the airport, and you would kind of just see the tourists, and the tourism was just slowing down. But at the same time, I was kind of in a position in my mind where the direction that I was going in, I wanted to do something else. And so I was just no matter what, I was just I'm going to do it, and I'm going to follow it through. I left my job right at the beginning of COVID. I bought a food trailer, and because of COVID and the timing of everything, it just took forever to get here. It took 9 months to get here just because of the freight. I've just been going for over a year, maybe 13 or 14 months now. So I've been doing it. And so yeah, it was right in the heart of tourism. Our borders had opened up for 3 months, at the time that I had opened, and so things were popping off. They were busy, and then COVID hit. Our borders had closed. The vaccines were getting rolled out in New Zealand. And I think our country was still in a stage whether they were going to open up. There was a lot of, I think, hesitancy around just catching COVID, and with our population and our healthcare system, there was I don't know, I would say a lot of fear of what would happen once we open our borders. Just in that small time, you kind of see the industry, and you're so close to tourism itself, you can feel it you're right in Moody, which is like the heart of tourism, and where a lot of tourists stay. Man, it was an extremely challenging period. Like I had to tell them, like, look, the work had stopped. I can't afford to pay you this amount of hours, but you can still come in and do these shifts. For that like period of time, it had slowed down tremendously. Like you could be open for the whole day, and you could be serving just a few customers, just enough to like pay your workers, and like there's no profits in that. Basically, it came to the point where I was working on the trailer by myself. I was trying to build ways to have content, make content, create content, just to keep my brain active. You'll know if you visit my Instagram, social media, you'll like I have a bit of a tutu on there and have a play around. But yeah, it kind of got to the point where like you couldn't afford to pay your workers. Everything kind of slowed down. Like being an entrepreneur here in the Cook Islands, it's almost like you're a capitalist by nature. So you're trying to grow your business so you can grow and want stuff and just be more. And we kind of got to a point where we were just stuck, and there was no traction. We were just stuck in the mud. Financially, there was like there was a standstill. I and whenever you think of yourself that you're not doing so well financially, there's always someone else that's doing worse, and you could tell just by the look on the island and by other entrepreneurs, because that's kind of your community of people, other business owners who are doing the same thing, taking risks, trying to grow, trying to be better, and they always had that positive energy. That silver lining was like everyone that's in the same boat as us. They're all having these challenges, and I was catching up with a lot of friends. I had a lot more time. So our livelihoods had practically been decimated. You just had to figure out what to do with all your leftover time now. More people took up planting, more people took up spearfishing. They went back to more traditional methods and lifestyles. And I think for me personally, I just got more creative. Like I had my phone, it was me, I was in my trailer, I spent a lot of time. And so I just got creative and I just started creating content. I read somewhere that in 2019, we averaged around 190,000 tourists for that year. And so far, since our borders have been open, we've had about 44,000 come through. Look, just like directly going off my eyes and my sight, because I work at the forefront of tourism, I'll see the numbers. I can, like, it was getting to where it used to be, but then like it changes with the flights, it changes with the cost of living here and with what's happening in New Zealand. Obviously we're not getting the numbers that we used to have because our borders used to be open to America, they'll be open to Tahiti, we had a direct route from Australia. And so like there's still heaps of potential. We've still got that block on New Zealanders who haven't been vaccinated to come through into our country. So there's still like lots of opportunities that we haven't tapped into just yet. Like I said, extremely fortunate for the government. They just came through. They were paying small businesses like subsidies so that you could pay your workers on a minimum wage for at least 40 hours a week. And then just grants on the other side of that just to bump up your business and keep it afloat. And they were also paying 70% on people's interest loans for their mortgages and their personal loans. And so they were trying to keep more money in the people's hands, sort of just for spending. So the government came in, man, and they pretty much saved the day. And they did that for about 2 years until the borders fully opened again. So I'm quite fortunate. Like I didn't have a lot of the struggles like of what other people had, because my wife, she works in the private sector, so her employment kept on rolling through. Always with business, we always kind of like tried to utilize and run our business off one income, so that like if anything would have happened, we'll still be able to survive. So my business is based off the back of my wife's employment. I wasn't doing that great, but like I wasn't facing struggles that normal people were facing, because their whole livelihood would have been invested in tourism. So if you had a family and they were all fully reliant on tourism, like that would have been extremely challenging. And like I'm significantly more like fortunate that that wasn't for me. Like my wife was working, and it kind of covered those kind of living costs and expenses. It was just like a no-frill lifestyle, you know. You eat, you come home, and like I would go to work, and it wasn't like I was making money. I was just going to work for my own personal growth, because that's what I said I was going to do. And so, you know, like I just did it. And it was a tough period to go through, and like we're extremely happy now, like that the borders are open. Like anything that we earn now is like way, way, way better than before, man. Like being stuck in the mud and just having it was almost like Rarotonga had become like tumbleweeds. Like all of our customers had disappeared. Where we used to being in front of like thousands of people, and then it had come to a standstill, and it was tough and it was long, and we didn't know when it was going to end. It's a tough one as well, because you need to know when it's time to stop. Like you can't keep going if you're going into a hole. Like I know other entrepreneurs that just put their livelihood into it and they kept going, and it was tough for them, and yeah, it was tough, and it's hard. You know, you just gotta work within reason. You could see other people's businesses, and I could see what they were doing, but it just wasn't working. But they kept going, and I think the resilience got us this far. But you would see some businesses, they fully closed up now. We lost a lot of workers. We lost a lot of our labor force to New Zealand. And so like right now we're through that recovery phase, and we're just trying to get our labor force back up there and just trying to grow. So it's been a lot of our Fiji brothers have been coming in, a lot of our Indonesians, but we need our labor force a lot. A lot of our workers have gone to New Zealand and pumped up their labor force. I've always seen myself in that light of living off the land, living off the ocean. And if worst comes to worst, that's what I want to do. Like that would be such a challenge, but I feel like that there's success in living that type of lifestyle. It's just a reserved lifestyle, and I guess I would have to change my dreams and change my goals and just revamp everything. Like if tourism stopped, I think that would be a more rewarding lifestyle that I would like to look at, and I think that would be a more traditional lifestyle of my ancestors, just down a different route. But before I get there, like I'm gonna explore every avenue. Like I'm an entrepreneur. Like what we do is we're creative. We'll try different things. I tried so many things, man. I had like my set menu, and then I would create videos with anything, any kind of confectionery I would get my hand on. Yeah, like I said, I just gotta stay the path. I've got to manage my finances correctly. I've got to stay on top of my troops. I've got to manage the direction that I'm working towards, and I just got to keep chipping away. I'm going through that recovery period. Financially, like I'm at a blockade, and I have so many ideas. I have so many opportunities in front of me. I want to do, and I want to be so much more than what I am today. Like I see myself as being at the bottom of where I will ever be. This is the lowest that I'll be, and I'm always continually growing. Like there's so many more things that I want to do. It's just like financially, it's like unattainable right now. So I've just got to stay the path, got to be patient, got to grow, and just not expand too quickly. Now, like in order for me to get to where I need to be, and the goals that I have, like tourism is like the extreme pump of revenue into our economy. Like without them, there's no wind in our sails. Like there's no ventures for us. They're extremely valuable assets to our country. So yeah, like they're at the forefront of every decision that's at my end goal. And so yeah, extremely important, man. Extremely important. Almost every day before COVID hit, and before I had my two children, I'll be working. Monday was my only day off, and on Monday I'll be like chasing supplies, but every other day I would work. Now I work 4 days a week, and then I work a few hours on Saturday, and so like I fully minimized my hours. I spend more time with my family now. I've just got more balance. I'm still working towards my goals. It's just like at a more steadier pace where I've got more balance in my life. Get a job, make sure you got that steady income, have a side hustle, do that on the side until that's built up, know the direction of where you want to go. But make sure you do that. Like the most valuable lessons that I've learned in this life is failure. Like I've failed so many times, and I'm just like, yo, messed up there, keep going, keep going. There's so many valuable lessons of discovering who you are and who you're going to be. There's so much opportunities. There's so much direction here. Like, you could practically rebuild yourself. You could be a doctor, come here and be a businessman. You could be like so skilled and just come here and try something completely different. It's just an attitude adjustment that you need to make mentally and just work towards it.